Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of House of Bugz. I'm so sad there's only a handful of more times that I'm going to say that in 2018. We're down to the last week, and today I'm going to show you how to spookify into Emily from The Corpse Bride. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, then just keep on watching. First off, we're starting with my trusty Nye Liquid Latex and a popsicle stick. We are going to create the gashes on Emily's face with this. I'm basically just looking at a photo of Emily and basing the shape off of that. Then I'll be adding a circular gash with the liquid latex to my head and very coincidentally covering up my pimple this way. I'm not going to wait until the liquid latex completely dries. I'm going to let it get to a nice damp stage and then start creating the hole for the gashes. Once you've created the shape similar to Emily's, just let it dry off completely. Again, you can use a hairdryer to speed this process up. For Emily's blue skin, we'll be using Mehron's Aqua Paints. This is in the shade Light Blue. This one is a bit patchy in comparison to the shade that I used for the Miss Argentina look, but it's still fairly easy to use. I'll also be using Colourpop brushes for this tutorial. This is the F16. So per usual, we are going to start off with our face, neck, and partially our chest for this, and then we will work on the rest of the body later. And like I said, this paint is a little more patchy than usual, so I'll be going in with a second layer and a triangle sponge to smooth out any of that uneven texture. For eyebrows, I'll be taking this LA Splash liquid lipstick in the shade Sirius, and I'll be applying that using Colourpop's angled eye brush. First, I'm going to brush down my brows. I'm not trying to make them look bushier or bigger. I actually want them to look as thin as possible because, as you saw from my last video, you know that blocking out my brows never works out. So we're going to work with my natural eyebrows, and I'm just going to mimic the shape of Emily's eyebrows. It was fairly easy to do. Just create that expression with the front of your brow. If you have very thick brows, blocking them out might be your best option, but if you have like medium to smaller brows, then you can just do it this way and call it a day. Now we're going to start working on eyes. I'll be taking this tapered blending brush from Colourpop and the Super Shock shadow in the shade Taco. I'm going to be using this as my transition shade for my crease and my lower lash line, but I'm going to be pulling this a lot lower than I would normally because she has very big, very round, and dead eyes. We don't want to give it like a cat eye effect or elongate the eye. We want to keep it very round, so keep that in mind when you're blending. We're going to deepen the crease a little bit more, and I'll be going into my Colourpop single shadow palette and taking the shade Backstage. It's this perfect cobalt blue shade. So you're just going to apply that lower into the crease and then blend it out with the tapered blending brush once you're all finished. Again, keep the shape very round. You don't want to give yourself a cat eye. I'll be applying that same Backstage shade all over my lid, but I'll be using the medium flat shader brush for this, and then I'll be going in with the Super Shock shadow in the shade Etiquette and just applying that with my finger over top of the Backstage shade. Emily's eyes are the most important feature about her, so we're going to create her big, beautiful, round eyes right now. We're going to take my Nye Magic Cake Aqua Paints in the shade White, and we're just going to apply that to my lower lash line, closest to my waterline. Now I'm going to take the Super Shock shadow in the shade Tassel and apply that to my inner corner and my brow bone. For lashes, I'm going to use the Style Bring It On from the Bold Face Makeup. This is a very round lash, which is important when you are looking for a lash for this look. You don't want a lash that's going to taper out at the ends and elongate your eye. You don't want a cat eye at all. So look for a pair similar to this that has the most volume in the center of the lash. I'll also be using bottom lashes for this look. These are my favorite single lashes ever. They're from House of Lashes and they're called La Petite. These are the medium size, and I'll be going in with these first. I'm just going to put down 3, one on the outer corner, one in the center, and one towards my inner corner. And then I'll be going in with the La Petite single minis and putting them in between. Now that Emily's lashes are all done, we're going to contour the nose. I personally don't like how drawing on the nostrils looks, especially on my nose. So I'm just going to recreate a very thin nose using that Backstage shade that I used on my eyes earlier. Again, with the eyeshadow Backstage, I'll be shading out around Emily's gash on her cheek and her forehead, and then I'll be filling in the gash using the liquid lipstick Sirius that I used on my eyebrows. Then I'll be taking another shader brush from the Colourpop brush set and the shade Let's Do It, which is just a black eyeshadow, and further deepening up that shading closest to the actual gash. And then from there, I'll be going back and forth between those three products and just creating the perfect shading situation. Now I'm just going to highlight the cheekbones using Colourpop's Play Highlighter. This does have a bit of a golden undertone to it, but you really can't see it against the light blue. And then I'll also be highlighting my nose with the Super Shock Shadow in Tassel. For lips, I wanted the perfect shade for Emily. I didn't want it too pink or too brown, so I went with Colourpop's Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Aquarius, and I love this shade in general, but especially for this look, it came out perfectly and it looks exactly like Emily's in the movie. And now it's to paint the rest of my body. I'm going to leave my left arm blank until I finish the right arm and my chest. I'll be drawing on an exposed bone on my left arm, so I'm leaving it blank from the blue for now. And I'll be going in with my white Magic Cake paint from Ben Nye and a foundation brush from Colourpop to start drawing on the bone. I'll be shading it in with all of the shadows that I mentioned previously. This isn't the best or most realistic drawing of a bone, but like I said, I was just going to wash this off, so I didn't try all that hard. If you are wearing this costume out for Halloween and you don't want to paint your hands, which I highly suggest against doing, I would grab a pair of those silky gloves and get the ones as high as possible so you can paint as little as your arms as possible, because it is a pain. Now for Emily's wedding dress, this was sent to me from Dolls Kill. They have an amazing Halloween section this year. For Emily's hair, I'll be using this amazing wig from I'm Style Wigs. It's the perfect color and style for Emily's hair. This wig has a natural part in the middle, but I'll be pushing it over to the side and holding it in place with this DIY flower crown veil that I created with fabric from Joann's, a hot glue gun, a headband, and flowers from the 99-cent store. We're almost done, but not quite. I'm going to glue on this caterpillar to my cheek. It's supposed to be a worm, but this was the best that I could find at the 99-cent store. I'll be using Pros-Aid to apply this. Basically just apply Pros-Aid to the area you want to stick it on and the object that you want to stick to yourself. Wait for it to dry down tacky and then press it on and leave it there for about 10 to 15 seconds. And for the final touch, I'll just be adding some of that Let's Do It eyeshadow to my gloves because she has been buried, so she's dirty. Okay, so that is it for my corpse bride look. Let me know what you guys are going to be for Halloween in the comments down below, and if you're going to be using any of my tutorials as inspiration for your costumes. I really hope you've been loving this House of Bugz series. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on the last of the Spookifies, and hopefully I will see you again soon.